Hi, I'm Mike Feeney. You might know me as a comedian or that guy from the internet you want to punch in the face. I'm on the hunt for a co-host for my wildly successful podcast. I've received hundreds of applications from some of the funniest people on the planet. Join me to see if they have what it takes to be my co-host. Welcome to Co-Host Wanted. Today, I'm interviewing a comedian, podcaster, and overactor. He's the Archduke of Anxiety, the Fable King of Flamboyance, and the subtweet sultan of social media. It's Gianmarco Soresi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you. That's very flattering.
Yeah, I feel like it's you have things that you're known for. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll get into all of these things, but I'm glad you're here. I'm excited. And obviously you know about this now. We're in season 2. I'm looking for a co-host, so I got to hold people's feet to the fire a little more than I did in the first season because I can't get burned again by hiring someone and then them leaving me high and dry, you know?
Yeah, did you hire someone and it didn't work out?
I did. It didn't work out. It's a whole thing. We're not even really allowed to talk about it with lawyers
Forgive
and all
me.
that stuff. But no, it's okay. But so now this season, I'm just a little more regimented than in the past. But let me ask you this right off the bat, super easy. Why do you think you'd be a good co-host?
Oh, I think I'm opinionated.
Okay.
I'm opinionated, and when you're churning out podcasts and footage, you gotta come. You can't see a movie and what you think of the movie. I liked it.
Right.
No, that's not going to fill an hour.
That's true.
So I see a movie and I got notes.
Yeah.
I should have been the director. I should have been the star.
Sure.
The credits didn't go right. I'm all over it.
Okay.
So I'm coming in with things.
With hot.
I had an acting teacher. He said, "Come to the scene with your pockets full," and he meant that like spiritually and metaphorically. But I mean like literally. I'm coming in.
I like
with shit.
Now, do you are those sincere opinions, or do you like you said, do you come in? Do you stuff your pockets, or is it truly filled with? Are you that much of a I hate all of this in this movie?
It's sincere.
Okay.
It's sincere. A lot of complaints.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes I have to, navigate it. So, my life's been going a little better this year, and some complaints people don't want to hear.
Sure, of course.
How much are you going to complain about the Uber driver?
Right.
It sounds a little mean.
They didn't upgrade me to Delta
yeah,
One.
Yeah.
When
They said hi, and I said I got things to do. So I've had to learn how to curb those.
I'm a biggest proponent of transactional Uber relationships. No, I don't want anything more than just confirming my name and have a safe flight. That's the extent of the conversation.
Absolutely.
I had just had this happen. I was going to the airport in Texas. I'm driving to the airport, and the first thing she does when she picks me up. I also have a thing. All I want is them to get out of when I have bags, get out of the car and even like give the attempt at helping me put the bags in the trunk.
Yes.
To just sit there and pop open the trunk from the driver's seat, you lose a star.
I agree. Sometimes if it's a lady, I go, okay.
Right. I'll lift,
okay. But if it's an able-bodied man,
unbuckle the seatbelt, like open the door and be like, you got it? Like something like that.
But it's worse if they come out and they stand there.
Right.
They stand there in case I fall.
I had that too. I had a guy come out and literally just watch me load my bag. And I stood there being like, why are you out of the car if you're not going to help me get him in? So there's that. She also goes like this. She goes, what did Uber charge you for this? And I go, I guess it was like $34. And she's like, man, this is the first word she says to me. She goes, man, I'm only making $14 on this. I just kind of accepted it because I pressed it by accident, but it's not a big deal. It's not your fault. And then you're like guilting me before I even get my seatbelt on. And then she's like, there's a lot of fog, so I'm gonna drive slow. And then she goes, do you like Metallica? And I go, sure, I like Metallica. By the way, let me set this scene too. It was 7 a.m. and I was on 4 hours sleep. And 7 a.m. She goes, you like Metallica? She played Nothing Else Matters by Metallica at a level that was so loud and so deafening, and then she played it on repeat for 35 minutes. She over and over and over again.
And she's like, so if Uber had paid me a little more, I wouldn't be so angry that I would need this music.
Yeah.
As someone who takes early, sometimes 4, 5, 6 a.m., you're catching them at the latter part of their shift,
of course,
and it's the beginning of your day. So the energy and the music they bring sometimes is just a different realm.
It's like
when we're existing.
I want a silent car. It feels. It's crazy. But so then she's like, she's guilting me, doesn't help me with the bags, blasting Metallica, and you're like, what do you do in that situation? Because sometimes I think you can go, what do you think hurts them, or is better? Do you think it's a 5-star no tip or a 4-star with tip?
I imagine they want the tip.
I think a 5-star with no tip is probably better for them, right? Because that affects their standing, and then they don't get into Uber VIP, and they don't get like the higher. I think that
I'm rarely given 4. I got to tell you, I'm a 5-star, or there was a serious problem.
Right. I used to tip like crazy amounts, like percentages, and then I realized like apparently they're like it's such a whatever they call that, not a luxury, but I've talked to Uber drivers and they're like, tipping is not like, not everybody tips on that. It's not it's not like a cab driver where people like they get
that Uber driver really fucked up giving you that information.
Yeah.
I don't know what the standard is with cars.
Right.
You know, I know of course 20% is my just standard. 22
minimum.
If they recognize me, 25.
Yeah. Okay.
25.
Nice. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I went on a date once, and my system at the time was 10% on taxis. And my date, and it was a first date, first time coming back.
Sure.
She punched in a different number for me. She was like, "That's too low," and man, was I humiliated.
Yeah,
I was humiliated.
I mean, that's a good thing about the Uber. You can kind of do it on the phone afterwards.
Yeah,
kind of a thing and stuff like that. So, okay, interesting. Well, yeah, look at that. We already found that filled up how much time? That's another. There you go.
Yeah, of course. I got lots of opinions. Do you ever leave money for the hotel staff on the way out?
In the room?
Yeah.
Now here's I'm opinionated about this as well because I never let them in my room. And it's not a cleanliness thing. I usually have multiple cameras in there. I'm charging cameras. I'll have a laptop.
Sure.
There's just like I don't want to shove everything in a safe. And it just, as much as I would like the bed
You're
made,
paranoid about theft.
It's not even like it just feels like it's not even that I think, this is a weird thing. It's hard to describe. It's not even that I think they will steal something. It's that if I come back, I feel like I have to do an inventory of everything that was there, and I won't even notice if something is missing. Where I'll be like, I have one less battery. Where did that go? And then I'm like, did I forget it at the club? Did someone take it? Like, it's just one extra thing that I don't want to have to worry about. So for the most part, even if I go, like I'll do that cellar in Vegas and stuff like that. If it's like a week, I'll have them come in once or twice. But if I'm there for a weekend, I never have them come in. So that makes it hard for me to leave any substantial tip because if they're coming in, they're not getting paid a lot. They should absolutely be left to tip. But I don't generally, like this past weekend, if it's basically like what I have, I'm like, if I got a 5, I'll, it just, I don't know. What do you do on that?
It depends. Unfortunately, my morality is based on how well I'm doing financially.
Yes, of course, as everything.
I used to get a lot more cash. Now I use like a card service thing. But when I got cash for merch, when you see the cash,
yes,
I think a lot of society's problems are because you don't see your money. I think if we all had to carry our cash on us in person, we would be way more generous.
For sure.
I mean, it's horrible to say, but like sometimes it's like you're doing a little better. You got a couple $100 bills. You're giving less because you're like, I got 100.
Right.
I don't have change for this.
You can't break this.
I think you should. I think the world. I'm fine. You have all the money you want, but you have to carry it in ones on your person.
That would actually. That's also another reason that I very rarely am able to like leave any sort of substantial tip for housekeeping is because if I'm doing a weekend at a club, all of my small bills is going to the staff, bartender or server, whoever's like taking care of me that weekend. So it's like I'll leave them a 20 or a 50 or whatever, depending upon how much they're doing. And then by the time I get back to the room, I got nothing.
But if it was all in cash, I'd just be here you go, here you go, here you go.
Of course, yeah, you do the Jim Carrey, the Dumb and Dumber. Here you go, here you go.
Yeah.
Okay. We met at LOL, right? Is that where we met? Do you remember?
Most likely. That's certainly where we probably...
What a fucking slum of a comedy club that was, huh?
It's crazy that it ever existed. I try to explain it to people. I mean, it was magical because I got so much stage time.
Yes.
I could not get that amount of stage time now if I tried.
No, I mean, it's basically, to describe it to people, it was basically like season 1 of The Wire. Like, it was like a tenement with a microphone, it felt like. And that's also what, before LOL, there was Ha.
Yeah,
and
I wish I'd been in the...
That's where I started.
I did karaoke at Ha in college one summer here.
That like dueling pianos room?
Something like that. And I wish I could go back because I had no idea about comedy at the time. But Ha, LOL, any comedy club named with the acronyms, you're in trouble.
It's a problem. And it was just like I had so many. I mean, like you said, it did kind of battle test you for the road because everybody was a tourist and most people were foreign. So you're like, if this is working, it's international. Of course, that could also be you could slip into like hackiness if you're there too long because again you're playing to the lowest common denominator or whatever. And there were people who have been doing the same act in that room for whatever, they've been doing the same act for 15 years and stuff, but I was good. There were times though, like they famously didn't know who Bill Burr was when he tried to walk in and do a spot.
I heard Brian Regan, he was there once. He was location scouting. He would have never performed, but on the way out, famously clean comic Brian Regan turned to his manager and said, "What a fucking shithole."
That's so funny.
And I think that's very fitting.
The guy who never curses ever. Well, yeah. And
it was the closest thing, though, to a black club in New York, I think, in certain respects. And I do believe a white guy to white guy, like being around some very talented black comics, charismatic, who know how to work a tough room, gives an edge that a lot of Brooklyn-bred comedians don't have.
For sure. I mean, Ha was even more of an urban room than LOL was, where it was just like, I would do the 11:50s on Tuesday night. It was the same thing where they had multiple rooms in one thing, but it was just like, it was just a lot of people from the Bronx and from deep in Brooklyn, and it would always be, and it was such a struggle to overcome. But then once you learn how to work in that, it probably sounds so like wildly racist to people who don't do comedy, but there's just different types of
it's just a different genre of comedy.
Like a different genre,
and it doesn't mean like there's overlapping the same way a great lyrics in one music form might overlap with another.
100%.
But it's like it's just kind of what the audience is there for, and it is still comedy, but it's also much more of a performance. And I remember Ken Boyd, for some reason, hosting the 1 a.m. show. The 1 a.m. shows when it started.
Yeah.
And he'd be doing this incredible act out. I mean, he should have been a mime of like, I like a girl who, when you finger, she licks the juice off her hand. Whatever. It's intense.
Yeah.
And he's doing an act out of like
he's
getting the juices
the first
on
3 minutes
the
of the
and I'm going up first.
Yeah.
He's hosting.
Right.
And I'm going like, so I went to college for musical theater and learning that's not, they don't want, that's not what this energy is right now.
Right.
And I think that's a good lesson that's tough to get.
For sure. Yeah. No, he was, man, I haven't seen Ken Boyd in a little while.
I know he's been on the cruises.
Yeah. I mean, he's
but God, his charisma was off the charts.
He's very so likable. It was so likable. I remember one time they used to do a clean show like early there. It was like 6 or 7 o'clock, and it was in this little closet of a room. And I remember I was on stage, and the owner of this club, this guy Roy, who was pretty much like the slumlord of the, he owned it, but he was.
You could see the money you were not getting paid went to his shoes.
Yes, 100%.
At some point he wore these gold shoes, and I was like, "Come on!"
It was over the top, screwing us over. But I was on stage during this clean show, and I heard this commotion. And I heard and all of a sudden we heard a slamming against the door that was right, outside of the showroom. And then I heard, "Get your fucking hands off me." And like this big skirmish. And then he runs inside the showroom and slams the door closed and locks the door and then turns around. And I'm just looking at him, and the whole audience, there's children in the room. Everyone's looking at him, and someone's pounding on the door to get in. And he just tries to go into GM mode where he's like, "I'm very sorry about the disturbance, everyone. Mike, please keep going." And I was like, "No, dude, what's going on? You locked people, you kidnapped everyone in this room. You've locked us in this room where we can't get out."
That's so
someone's
scary.
trying to beat the door down to beat your head in because you probably ripped them off like you did everybody else, saying that, Chris Rock and Tina Fey were coming in. I mean, there was a moral line you had to kind of blur in order to work there, knowing that every single person in that room was being lied to get into the room. But then your hope was that you could be so funny that it would overcome and a lot of times I think it did. It would overcome the deception that,
Yeah, there was some good stuff there. It was just like the vibe was deathly, and the music
Terrible
was blaring, and the drinks were bad, and the food was just dreadful.
Food would poison you. I didn't even know.
But I was trying. You were trying.
Yeah. We gave it our shot. You used to do a lot of roast battles, and I judged a handful of them. You were always great. You had like devastatingly dark insults, and I remember you were always very quick with comebacks. I feel like that was one of your strengths. You were like very good. I did find the liberal use of the N-word off-putting, but it was a different time.
Well, as I said, I worked in an urban club for a long time, and it rubbed off on me.
The Ken Boyd. Is there any insults that you remember from those roast battles that like pierce the armor? Because a lot of times we're all just laughing, dismissive, but every once in a while you do a roast battle, and I remember there's ones that I've done where every once in a while you're like, oh, okay, that one hurt, that one got through.
Yeah, I know the things that like because the being called gay does nothing to me. It can be tough to come back from.
Right.
The only way I've ever done it successfully is that I have to make us both gay.
Right. Okay.
Because you can't deny, and if you embrace too hard, it doesn't work. But if you're both gay,
that's fun.
No, the most humiliating. I'm trying to think if you were there. It was a COVID Zoom.
Oh,
roast.
I was not there for that.
And it was, COVID. It was deep existential angst. What have I invested in?
Yeah.
And I was trying to take an artistic risk, and I did it from my bathtub. Okay. So like I had the laptop there on the Zoom, and I thought like the vibe would be like, oh, that's crazy.
Are you naked? Like you're like
I'm naked. I'm in a bathtub. I'm trying to think. I may have had maybe swimsuit on, but it was just on my face.
Yeah, of course. But they're like bubbles and like a rubber duck.
There were bubbles. There were bubbles for sure, and the vibe was just like, ugh.
Yeah, like can you try for this?
Yeah, it was just like that's weird, and I couldn't get out.
Right.
I couldn't
get out of the tub.
Let me get out of the tub.
Literally get out. Guys, if you could just give me, you just start rinsing off, you're drying off with the towel.
And then the jokes were like, it was Boris. What's Boris's last name?
Some with a K, right?
Boris, yeah. And all the jokes were like, you're a hack.
Okay.
And I was like, call me ugly,
gay,
call me gay,
exactly.
Jewish, Italian. But like it was just like you're a hack.
Hack is just hurt. It's so hurtful.
Yeah, and it really I felt like, and it was all that. Like it never deviated, and no one was coming to the roast,
right?
Because it's a Zoom roast, so it was mostly other comics, and it was also like Boris Hyken, but it starts with a K.
Yes,
he would. He opened for me once at a college gig. And there's like a part of you, if someone opens for you, ever.
Yes.
There's a you could go after them.
Of course.
They opened for you.
Yeah.
And
you accepted $200 to come with me to Pennsylvania for a one-nighter.
Yeah, you drove.
Yeah.
And you didn't do as well as I did at the college gig.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't go there. All my jokes were nuanced about your Jewishness and getting and we're fine now or whatever, but it was just like fuck.
Yeah.
And it was COVID, and it was a bath, and I bombed, and then I had to undo the bath and get out, and I'm cold. Yeah. And it really made me so mad.
Sure. No, that would bother me. That's the worst thing. Like, it's just like heckles where if someone's like, they could say anything you want, but if they do like you're not funny thing, or it's one of those things where you're just like, yeah, but objectively these, you know what I mean? Like there's ways to come back from most of those things, but especially if a peer is saying that, it's like it's just so hurtful.
And it's like when in real life, I can do a stand-up set, I'll have the worst day. If I have a good stand-up set, it's embarrassing, but I'm like doing great now.
Yeah.
And during COVID, we did not have that.
No.
We did not, and if we couldn't have a set, we had to deal with it like regular people do, and just sit in it.
Just literally, I mean, you were sitting in a tub. You couldn't even, you had to literally wash it off. That's very fun. Your new special, Thief of Joy, doing very great.
Thank you.
Millions of views, and it's very much you, by the way. It's like a lot of jokes. It's very theatrical. It's like you got the signature bend at the waist, hand on the knee, punchline delivery thing. And I've noticed a lot of successful comedians have their signature thing. It's like Chappelle has his microphone thing, Rock's got his, Shane's got his thing, Norman's got his, and that's yours. Like that's your thing that people have known and like they identify with you about. And I just realized I'm like, I don't know, I've never thought about my thing or if I have a thing or what my thing is besides just yelling. Like I don't even
and yelling can be a thing.
Yeah.
Sam Kinison made a good career out of it.
Lewis Black.
It is one of those people just like you just no, people keep bringing it up.
Right.
Like, I didn't think, now it seems to be like this, the way I sit on the stool. And like part of it in the beginning, it's like, that's just, how I like it.
Of course.
And then you lean in and try not to lean in too hard. And like, you know, for a little, I like really hit that lean. And sometimes I back off. And then sometimes it happens again.
Yeah.
So you just kind of keep your ear to the ground and be like, what are people noticing about me?
But it's interesting because it almost, like I said, it almost helps you because even if they're even if they're insulting, they're still being like, there's people like, you know, everyone notices when Chappelle hits his thing, but it's still like that's his you know, and he's got a ton of babies out there of other comics that do it every once a Chappelle special comes out, the next, you know, 3 weeks every comic is doing this.
It goes to show how usually non-dynamic our art form is, that like that so easily becomes you know, for a ice skater it's like a triple axel backflip, and for us it's like he always just lets the mic hit his leg kind of.
He lets us know when to laugh. You know? The New York Times has described you as a moodily pretentious and vain thespian who alternates between silkily feline physicality and frenetic gesticulation, which I think is like, it's so great because you do feel like a cartoon cat personified. I feel like that is your whole like energy. I could see you like purring, clawing at furniture, licking your own asshole. Like it seems you do have cat energy.
Yeah, I think, and I also think like why I struggled with acting. Like again, it's like stand up, I get to just do what I do naturally, but acting, it'd be like, well, you're playing, you know, a businessman in this, or you're playing like, you know, a little bit older, and I just couldn't stop moving.
Like, it's just like you just lost your son, go, and you're like dancing all around. Yeah. And of the special, they said it's a funny mix of cringe and cutting, try hard and eye roll, lip biting emotionalism, and cynical snark. Now, is that flattering or devastating?
I think as long as I'm like owning it and not trying to hide it, like I'm never gonna be cool.
Right.
Like I would look at like Jesselnick and be like, oh, I like the pace sometimes. I like, and then it's like, if I try it and fail publicly and own it, it's okay.
Yes.
I ultimately think like comedians, it's like you have to play the fool.
Sure.
And sometimes when people describe it, it will be insulting, but it's
it's a positive. It was a very positive, glowing review of your special, and then it's like I just there's again maybe it's for me the like trigger words of like, when I see cringe, when I see try hard, like those things are like, I'd be like, oh God, why'd you have to put that in there?
Of course. I think I really try to like look at it, and maybe I'm deceiving myself, but it's like, no, this is you being honest. I am a try hard.
Right.
I do want it.
That's fair.
I can't pretend like I don't want it.
That's fair.
As long as I go like, guys, I really want it. Don't I? Like at least I think self-awareness can set you free comedically.
Okay. That's a good answer. All right. I'll do a psychological question for you. How many light bulbs are currently lit in Times Square right now? Be as specific as you can.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm thinking like just Broadway shows alone. I'm thinking of the border, and that's got to be, you know, 40 times. There's got to be 40 shows, 30 shows. So that's just a 1,200 right out the gate. And then there's other things. I mean, I'm gonna guess 9,500.
Okay. Interesting.
Is there an answer?
500. I'm sure there is. I don't have it. It's more of like I like to see how you solve a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm thinking of the Broadway shows, but then there's movie theaters.
I think it's got to be way more than that, personally.
You think so?
But I can't.
45,000?
I think it's probably, because you got to think about even like where the ball drop, like all of those things. There's light. There does feel like there's so many. And now, do you count those LED screens as those little lights? Is that count?
I mean, God, if we're counting those, we're looking at 100,000.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
I was thinking very traditional, like I see my name in lights,
big bulbs, kind of a thing. I got you. You come from a Jewish mother and an Italian father. To which do you credit the hairiness?
I used to think it was the Italian side, and then I played like a basketball game with other Jews, and I was like, oh.
That's where
this is. I think the hairy chest, it's my father's Italian side.
But everything else.
But shoulders, lower back.
Lower back is
shoulders feels Jewish. Ass, though, I don't know. It really
ass is probably Italian. Because my roommate in college was Italian. He's mostly Italian, and he had the same. It was like full full carpet, front and back, shoulders, everything. He was covered.
I've been assured, like, I was very self-conscious about my ass being hairy growing up. I mean, because I would see, like, someone who would moon someone. And it was always, like, a smooth ass. And then
I have that ass. I have an Irish, I have no back. I don't have a single hair on my back.
I think that's better. But I hear from women and from gay men that they do, some of them very much like it.
I don't think anybody likes shoulder hair.
Sure.
Like, there isn't a single. That's never been a kink. That's been like, I think it's
a whole package though. Like I'm hairy all, and it's not even that thick. It's just all over.
It's just never, because it never stops from the right below your nose all the way down to the toes, I would imagine. And it's funny. I remember. I just reminded me when I said shoulder. When I was going to my bachelor party, my friends, we were going down to Miami, and my friend got waxed for the thing, and he had a very hairy chest, and he got his shoulders waxed, but then he didn't get the rest of his back waxed because he was like, that hurt too much. So it just looked like when a soldier has those like colonel flaps on the side with a little fray on it, but it just was bald there and nowhere else, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Something we both have in common is that we're both products of divorce. My parents got divorced in I think I was like 12 or something like that.
Wow.
Yours got divorced 7 days old, correct? So
and then mom and stepdad got divorced when I was 18, so I got to see it.
Okay.
I got to see it a little bit because my siblings on that side, it was their first divorce.
Right, because I was going to ask, which do you think caused more damage?
Which divorce?
My parents getting divorced at 12 or yours getting divorced 7 days, because I was going to say that I feel like I got to have good memories like growing up in between explosive arguments, but I had to watch the boat come crashing to shore, where it felt like you growing up, you never knew. It's like being in coach and being like, what's going on in first class? You don't know what you're missing.
I think I'm more envious of the older, getting to have one home.
Right.
There really is like a fracturing of like also life experiences.
Sure.
They kind of split up weekends in a way where it's like it makes you not necessarily want to do a sleepover, because if you do a sleepover this weekend, you don't see your dad.
Right.
And going on trips and having to go back
Family
and forth
vacations.
is such a slog.
Yeah. How far away did your parents live from one another?
In the beginning, it was longer. It was like 25 minutes, and then later it was like honestly 10. But it still didn't feel like I could swing back.
Sure.
I had this big duffel bag, and I would overpack it with action figures and the full video game system, the full PS2, the full N64.
I was the same way with action figures. I would have a full duffel bag of like little wrestling guys that I would bring everywhere and stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I do like action figures. They're around. I'll play with them. And then what happened, I went to a summer camp and I brought a full duffel of action figures. And I don't know how old I was, maybe 13, 14. And my roommate was like, "Are those action figures?" And I immediately was like, my parents gave me my brother's bag. And I didn't touch him that summer, and that was the end.
That was me with wrestling, is because I remember every single week we'd watch like Monday Night Raw, and then on Tuesday you go. That was like the water cooler conversation of my school. It'd be like, "Did you see what Stone Cold Steve Austin did?" And then I don't know what happened, but it was like one Tuesday we talked about it, and then it felt like the next Tuesday I came in and I was like, "Did you guys see Raw?" And they're like, "We don't watch wrestling anymore. Like we like girls now." And I'm like, all right, I guess that's done, you know. But I would always have like a Spider. I had the most hodgepodge. It would be like a Stone Cold Steve Austin action figure, and then Spider-Man, and then like Will Smith from Independence Day. It was like a random like I never lived in the universe of each thing.
Sure.
It was all
Once I got into anime, it was a lot of like The Undertaker and what's gold? What's the gold one called?
Goldust?
Goldust.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Goldust was great.
Goldust. You would love Goldust. I feel like
his finisher was so cool, though. He would do. I mean, so was the Undertaker.
The upside down
it's
DDT.
all so theatrical.
Yes. But Goldust very much.
Goldust is very. Goldust's thing was like, I'm gay.
But it
I
wasn't
put my
even
fingers in your mouth.
Well, there's that. But Mick Foley, Mankind also did that.
Of course.
But Goldust also did like this weird. He had like a sexual. Like he'd be like Like he would be like very almost like he was like edging the whole time. It was very creepy. He would whisper, and
I loved it, man.
He also was like a cat personified too.
How old are you again?
I'm 37.
37.
Yeah.
So we were like D-Generation X.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we were there when it was like dirty, and it was like there was sex, and they said fuck, and I would go around suck it.
Oh my God.
I would say suck it when I truly did not know what we were talking about.
No one initially did. No, not at all. But it was very cool.
It was very fun.
Very cool. Hey everyone, today's episode is sponsored by Miracle Made. Here's a gross and disgusting fact. Traditional bed sheets can hold more bacteria than a toilet seat. Yeah, not exactly what you want to lay your face on, but Miracle Made, they are different. Miracle Made bedding is designed to fight bacteria and stay cleaner longer with silver-infused fabrics that prevent 99.7% of bacteria growth. Now listen, I don't know much about numbers, but I know 99.7 is pretty goddamn good, huh? I've been using Miracle Made sheets, and I gotta tell you, I love them, and for a bunch of different reasons. Number one, it's the perfect temperature, okay? I'm a cold sleeper. My wife's a hot sleeper, but I don't know how they do it. Apparently, they've crafted some NASA-inspired silver-infused fabric that helps regulate your body temperatures. Whatever they're doing, keep doing it because it's working, because my wife doesn't sweat. I'm no longer freezing. We're both at the perfect body temperature, even though we're laying in the same bed. It's amazing. It also stays cleaner longer thanks to their antibacterial silver technology. Miracle Made sheets stay cleaner 3 times longer than traditional sheets. So think about that. You're doing less laundry. You're spending less money. You're using less electricity, using less detergent. I mean, all around, it's a win. Not to mention, they feel amazing. It feels like a 5-star hotel. You know when you go into a 5-star hotel, you get into that nice bed. It's so comfy, those sheets, that you just kind of like, I call it swimming, but you do like that like running dog when they're sleeping kind of a thing in the bed because you're so excited. That's what I do every night now when I go to bed, thanks to Miracle Made. So upgrade your sleep or give the gift of better rest. I have a special gift for my listeners. Go to trymiracle.com/Feeney. That's Feeney to try Miracle Made sheets today. You'll save over 40%, and when you use the promo code Feeney, again, Feeney, you'll get an extra 20% off plus a free 3-piece towel set. What are we talking about here? 3 free towels? What are you kidding me? Have you ever been at a point in your life where you think you have enough towels? You might have gotten there, and then what happens? Inevitably, you get out of the shower and you go, oh, God damn it, there's no towels. There's no clean towels. Everyone could always use more towels, and we're giving you 3 of them just for free on top of the 20% off, on top of the 40% off that you're getting from Miracle Made Sheets. Try it out. You're going to love it. They also make a great gift. Plus, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. One last time, that's trymiracle.com/Feeney and use the promo code Feeney at checkout. And thanks to Miracle Made for being a sponsor of this podcast. Now let's get back to the interview. Hey everyone, if you're enjoying the podcast, sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/co-host-wanted. Each week we do a bonus episode. We'll do chemistry tests with the guests. I'll play video games with you. We got a ton of stuff and goodies going on there to help support the show. It helps fund this search. It really let you into the boardroom. You're inside the meetings of all of these interviews. You're helping me decide who should be my new co-host. Sign up today, patreon.com/co-host-wanted. See you there. Your dad was on Ashley Madison.
Yeah, he's on the apps.
But Ashley Madison
specifically got hacked. And,
yes.
and
is
the
that how
users
you
were
found
revealed.
out?
My sister told me. I think she just thought my sister on the other side, not even related to my dad. She was just curious, and she was right on the money.
And she looked up the Ashley Madison hack, like when all the things got
there were
released.
There were a lot of you could search a name and find out if it was there. So yeah.
Have you ever talked to your dad about that?
But he wasn't married though, so I really think he was looking to have an affair, even though he was single. I think he
wanted to be the other man in the relationship.
Yeah, I think he probably even pretended like he was married. I think he likes. He is a true blue, in his veins cheater.
Italian. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He likes it. He likes it. I think every relationship of his ended, whether because of cheating or like online cheating.
Sure. Now, did that make you become a person who is cheated a lot, or is it the opposite where you've never cheated?
I've never cheated, but I also didn't know. When I was a kid, I didn't know he was cheating. It was more like later I found out from my mom, oh, it ended because they cheated. Oh, that stepmom that started sleeping in the basement out of the blue.
Yeah.
That's because he cheated, not because she had, according to him, she had a tough childhood and having a kid reminded her of. It's like, no, you cheated.
So and I know that you said that your dad has like slept with some of your teachers in the past.
He slept with my kindergarten teacher. I don't know if he started when I was in first grade, or I'm sure.
That's wild.
My
I was
mom,
gonna say that'd make for an awkward homeroom the next
or
day.
a really nice one. I think she slept over once, and it was like she was a cool teacher.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, the cool teacher is sleeping over.
That's so fucking. I mean, I guess it's ultimately not funny. It's like tragic and
I liked it at the time, and then it was just like I think the traumatic part was when she left and suddenly she's gone.
Right.
And my dad's story was that my mom got her fired. My mom told me later she and my dad would send messages back and forth via my lunchbox.
Oh, my God.
So this was like kind of pretexting, I guess. So
yeah.
And I don't remember this, but apparently, she'd give a note, bring this to your father, and he'd give a note, bring this. And who knows what that note said? I could have been sexting for all I know.
Oh, you were the messenger. You were the pigeon carrier of paper sexting. That's fucking crazy, dude.
And so my mom's just like, of course she goes, that's inappropriate. Should she have gotten her fired? I don't know.
Right. I mean, I think that's probably worth fire. I think if she didn't, the note is what is the fireable offense. The sleeping with the son, that's a more with the son's father. That's more of a moral gray area. But the making you the arbiter and the sender of the messages feels like you can't get the kid involved. You can't get the student involved.
I don't disagree, but then she's fired, and suddenly you're like, what happened to Miss Vance?
Right.
That's traumatic too.
That's brutal as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. All right, let's go back to a psychological question. Let's palate cleanse from that. Name every way you can use a paperclip.
I'm thinking very specifically a Tamagotchi to reset it.
Yes,
that's the first. I don't even think of it in the office sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one.
You can use it. Sometimes I'm out of floss and you need something. I have one gap.
What?
And it's
you have
real
that
tight.
big of a gap that
it's
you can
one
get a
gap that things get stuck in specifically. So you got that. You can make chains for fun. I definitely used to play with them action figures wise. I I would have them hanging from a thing and try to knock them down with a Nerf gun or something.
Sure.
Papers, of course.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could use it to like charge a battery somehow, or like to shock someone to create booby traps.
Okay. Yeah.
For sure. Necklaces for yourself, bracelets for yourself, especially if they're multicolored. That's kind of fun and nice. And I'm just using them just to fidget. I'm just using them to get this before we had the fucking cubes, before they cared about people at ADHD. I'm just playing with them.
You can never, once you bank them straight, you can never put them back to the original shape. It's impossible. It's very strange how hard that is because they're very bendable, but they'll never get back to that exact.
Never back.
So that was like almost 10 different ways. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say success?
Oh, it's that attaining it brings about misery.
Okay.
That
very dark.
Yeah, success is generally like you get it and now what? You got it and people see success and they go, you must be, it's nothing I hate more than you must be feeling great.
Of course.
Because now I feel bad for not feeling great.
Right.
On top of the already not feeling great.
Already not feeling great. Wow.
So yeah, it really is like you don't want it. You want almost. Or you want success is coming tomorrow. It's almost there. You can taste. You know how they say planning for the vacation or the looking forward to the vacation is more fun than the vacation itself.
It's the anticipation. It's the hope. All that stuff. Right. Okay. Yeah.
So that's how I feel.
I was looking for like joining this podcast or something like that, but that's also the darkest and saddest way you could have answered that otherwise.
Success means the end.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. It's the end as we know it. Like most comedians, you don't worship God, you worship attention. You describe yourself as a cultural Jew, which I assume means you skip synagogue, but you never miss a chance to complain. But I think that's smart because you're able to dip in and out of the faith when there's like a financial opportunity. Otherwise, you just claim Italian.
Of course. Listen, I'll do Italian gigs. I'll do Jewish gigs.
Yeah.
I think given some of my political leanings, I've lost the Jewish circuit that I could have had.
Interesting. Okay.
There's a circuit that I could have that I used to participate in a little more.
Yeah.
And now I just, if they're looking up my work,
right,
I'm getting disinvited.
They're gonna find it
for sure. Or I have to go to their website and I go, oh, they're all fundraisers for the IDF?
Right.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Okay, next gig, you know. Then you're like, I'll do San Gennaro instead. You know? You're dating your manager. Just celebrated 5 years.
Celebrated 5 years.
Yeah.
We were dating first for a long time.
Right. And then she became your manager.
Then became my manager.
Is that true love or the ultimate tax deduction?
I guess it's true love because I love my stand-up comedy.
Okay.
And so in a way,
you're gonna say her.
I love her, of course. But anyone who is a real comic has an unhealthy love with stand-up.
Sure.
And you bring them in some capacity.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I think it's for the best, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. I'm sure mixing business and personal has never blown up in anyone's face. And I'm sure having everything...
but it's also this idea of separation when you're crazy with your work is borderline impossible.
Yeah, this is true.
You know?
Guess. Yeah.
George Carlin was with his partner, Adam
Yeah.
Sandler. I watched Adam Sandler go on stage, and his wife was in the back taking some notes.
Right.
Bert Kreischer.
Didn't George Carlin get ripped off though by his wife's? Wasn't it the wife's? They got. Is it a different comedian where they got divorced and then he got remarried, but he kept the wife's brother as the accountant? Who was
God!
That?
I mean, Dane Cook got ripped off by his brother.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, a lot of comedians were not necessarily good with money, and so we're going to get ripped off by someone.
We're gonna get ripped off for sure. You have a tattoo of an L on your.
I got it covered up though.
You did.
I did.
I was just gonna ask because I saw that you had talked about it on the Tonight Show that you were gonna get a.
Well, for the Tonight Show, I got it covered up. For the credits of my special as like an Easter egg.
Oh, fun.
But then for the Tonight Show, I still wanted to close with that bit.
So you made them
I got
draw...
a fake tattoo on my right side.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that was a fake, 3-week-long tattoo.
And let me ask you, because I'm curious about this. Let's say you and your girlfriend you stay together forever, and then because I know she's Jewish, she'll probably want to be. Can you still be buried in a Jewish cemetery if you had a tattoo and get it removed, or is it like Scarlet Letter, you're stained, and
I've heard a lot that like it is not as strict for the Jewish burial as I was led to believe, that it's kind of a joke. But I've also heard that sometimes the rabbi will just slice it off. Oh. You know, maybe with the same tool they used on my penis.
Yeah. Interesting.
And again, I think like any super religious cemeteries, I think my body of work is going to prevent me more than my literal body.
That's fair.
But she also has a tattoo as well.
Oh,
she has a tattoo.
Interesting.
Of a Hebrew.
So you're both sinners. That's
we're
great.
both sinners.
Yeah.
So we're both going to be in unmarked graves in the middle of Central Park.
Yeah, so we're on Roosevelt Island somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a I remember, my day job years ago used to be like selling beer. So I would go around to all these different bars in Brooklyn and stuff, and I would sell beer to them and stuff. And then we had like what's the name of like it was like Jewish beers that could be kosher.
Kosher, yeah.
I thought there was another word I was looking for, but yeah, essentially kosher beers. And I remember, and they were very, very strict. Like I would come in and he would have the leather band wrapped around, and he'd be like doing prayer and like wouldn't even be able to like talk to me necessarily. And I would talk to his wife. His wife was very cool, and it was a very popular Jewish restaurant, and it was like, all Jewish people go there. Apparently the food was fantastic, but it was very like a very religious place. And I mean, this guy was a little bit of a nightmare to work with, if you can believe it. But I was downstairs one time getting paid by his wife, for the beer and stuff, and she had the long, like ankle length skirt on, and I noticed she had like a little butterfly tattoo, and I was like, and I go, hey, I like that. Just making conversation. I'm like, hey, I like that tattoo, and she like jumped up, like slammed the door of the office and was like, don't ever fucking bring up that tattoo ever again. Like, if these people in this restaurant hear that I have a fucking tattoo, like this whole plate, like she was like so serious, like you can't. And I'm like, then don't wear a skirt, don't show your ankle. You know what I mean? Like wear pants. But she was like so serious, like you cannot let people, like you can't tell anybody about this. You can't tell anybody about that. And I'm like, oh my god, okay. Yeah, I was like, I just looking for it now. But then I was like, you better pay me on time, otherwise, the word's gonna get out.
Maybe that's why those Hasidic women wear such long skirts. They're tatted up.
Yeah,
they got full big puss tattoos down to the thighs.
That would be crazy. Through your career a little bit, do you find that people are coming out to your shows from stand-up clips or from your breakout role as reporter number 1 on Blue Bloods?
I think hopefully it's not from my acting work. They're going to be really disappointed. Yeah. I did play reporter number 2 in 3 episodes of Blue Bloods.
Reporter number 2? Oh, I'm sorry, I gave it too much credit.
Yeah, and the good residuals.
Oh, I
probably make a couple grand every year because there's channels that are like Blue Bloods on repeat.
Right. Whoa.
So it is nice.
Nice. And I saw that you auditioned for Marvelous Miss Maisel 12 times.
I must have been 12 times.
And
brutal.
Never got it?
Never got it.
Dude, that's as if they were like, we love neurotic Jews, but we're making a comedy, not a caricature.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
There was the one that made me so mad was off stage voice. Not even on camera, but just be like, pull the curtain.
Yeah.
And you're like, just give this to me. 12 times. This is where I go, like, you gotta be paying.
I assume you were great at reminding them of who not to cast. If every time they're like, oh, right, that's not what we're looking for.
Yeah. Too Jewish.
12 times is so crazy. Did you ever have a point where you, like, had that, like, did you ever have any sort of like feeling of shame? Yeah, self-respect to be like, fuck you,
Oh, I was definitely like, no. And then I go and do it anyway.
That was me with JFL. I would always be like, I'm not doing that. And then they would ask me, I'm like, okay. And then it wasn't until I think last year or the last time I did it, which I think was like, I just like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I remember they were multiple comics. It's like a lot of newer comics are on the show or whatever. And there's always a couple like, vets that are on the show or whatever. And I remember multiple comedians on that lineup were like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you on this?
Yeah.
And they're like, then they're also like, you haven't done this yet? And immediately I was like, fuck this forever.
Yeah.
I'm never
I was
doing
proud.
that again.
I did better with after the SNL, I did one SNL showcase, not screen test. And after that, I was like, I'm done.
Right.
I'm not doing this.
Sure.
You can submit a stand-up set. I'm not making a character tape ever again.
Yeah.
Ever again.
It's very tough.
And I have those friends that keep doing it. And I go, you're too old now.
Yeah.
And you just don't do this to yourself.
Out.
Please don't do this to yourself.
It's very embarrassing. And you were also on The Real Housewives in New York, which I feel like checks out because you love gossip and catty feuds.
It's true.
How was that experience?
It really took any believable. I know reality shows aren't real, but you really go, this is so fake.
The producers just yelling, like setting you up for
we
things.
basically put on a show for 10 women eating dinner, and the cameras are on them talking. And you're like, we really are, this is all so fake.
Yeah.
And then they cut to one of the women being like, the energy in the room was not good, like criticizing the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Where was it? Where did they shoot that? Was it like
Slate?
I don't know.
It's a big, they do shows there sometimes, but just like, I got stoned. I didn't know it was Real Housewives.
Oh.
And I didn't realize I've never even seen a full episode of the show.
Interesting.
My reality show it was in middle school. I watched The Apprentice.
Real World?
I watched
like
a little later than that. Apprentice, Temptation Island, Joe Millionaire.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I got it out of my system.
Yeah.
I got it out of my system.
Yeah, and because I feel like you're no stranger to like drama, and I've always kind of taken more of like a Mary J. Blige approach, but perhaps like I could use more drama in my life, and you seem to thrive in it. How do you do that? I would always be worried about enemies, people not liking me, or running into the people.
You mean like
like inner comedy drama.
Yeah, I mean, it helped that I was on the road. And I wasn't seeing people.
But you're gonna eventually.
Eventually.
Yes.
And I have fear.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's what I want to know.
I absolutely have. Anxiety.
Right. Okay.
And my girlfriend told me, because I have opinions.
Sure.
And my girlfriend did tell me wisely. She was like, you can either like criticize people for their political views, or you can criticize them if you think they're bad.
Right.
like bad comics. And she's like, if you do both, you cannot come to me when you're hurt that no one likes you.
Yeah.
And I took it to heart, and I decided I do feel more politically annoyed at this stage in my life with people.
Sure.
And I decided to take that tact.
So
there are still some people that I'm nervous to run into, and I got a call from someone after some the Riyadh, talking about Riyadh a little too much.
Interesting.
And I will say,
from someone that went to Riyadh?
That went to Riyadh.
Oh.
And I will say, like, when first it was shit talk on the pod.
Sure.
And then before you know it, you're on CNN talking to Jake Tapper, and you're like, there really was a moment. I don't necessarily regret it, but you're like, who am I sharing this with? I'm not talking shit with my comic friends.
Right.
I'm talking to the principal.
Right.
Jake Tapper is the principal class.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe I don't want to talk to this guy in his suit when he's then
too
going.
Serious.
It was too serious.
Yeah.
And
it
was a moment of reflection of just like, I do want to shit talk, but who am I shit talking to?
Yeah, I think shit talking on a podcast with your boys or like comics on the, like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like it's different. That once you go outside of that, then you're like, then it becomes almost like this. Because I always kind of felt like comedy is almost like should almost be this incubating thing where it's like we're making fun of, we could trash other people and stuff like that, but it almost feels like, again, once you go out of that, then it's always like this thing of like, people end up, because you were by the way like on the forefront of like comedians, I feel like subtweeting about other comedians.
Sure, I was lucky that I wasn't bigger during the Twitter canceling era.
Yeah,
because I don't know how much holier than thou I would have been.
Right.
I definitely evolved from that era of my life of just like how I view comedy, but I was newer as well.
Right.
And I think it's like,
but it's a whole genre now of comedy where it's basically like you see people, there are all these basically like TMZ YouTube channels about other comedians.
Oh,
They get more views than most comedian specials do.
Yeah.
It's because people are like obsessed with
the
like
fact that I know that Bert Kreischer and Joe List at a bachelor party once had an argument is crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that I could tell you what happened is nuts.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it feels like there's too many like stool pigeons. You know what I mean? There's too many people like.
But if you look at Twitch, I did Hassan Piker's Twitch, and I've never had a Twitch account. And the Twitch drama is nuts. It is the entertainment value. I think beefs can be good. And I think beefs can also be are important for it not to get worse. Yes. I think if there wasn't any pushback for Riyadh, it would get worse than that, like in terms of like more. I think it's healthy,
right?
And I think that's the thing. That's what I didn't like. Where I went, like, should I go on Jake Tapper? Because I'm like, I do think it's healthy for comics to be like, hey, fuck you. What the fuck was that? And I do think we should have some ecosystem amongst us.
Right.
When you go outside of it, that's when I go.
That's the thing, right? Like, it probably would have been better if like you were on a podcast with one of the Riyadh comics and just debating that versus being like, I'm going to shit talk them and then they're going to shit talk you. Everyone shit talks each other on their own podcast. And then it's just kind of like shooting flame arrows from one side of the wall and just kind of hoping that you hit, Because that never feels good when you're like, you get tagged in something and you open it up, you're like, oh no. No. What is this podcast clip about? They made this the clip?
And it was also brutal with that flyer because there was a comic who dropped out. And like he was still on the flyer though that was used.
I don't know who that was. I have to.
Nimesh dropped out.
Oh right,
he dropped out, but that flyer
was already out.
Riyadh's not doing like, hey, update on the lineup.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I'm like, that blows. You got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, no, that sucks. Pete Holmes called you one of the funniest comedians in the world. Have you always known Pete?
By the way, I'm sure he said that to 1,000 people.
Right.
But
well,
yes.
that was actually so funny. I was going to say, have you always known Pete to be a liar?
No, he's very he hosted My New Faces, and he sits to the side. Yeah, and he's also just like, listen, I'm not a good laugher. If stand-up's really good, the better they are, the more I'm in my own head going, God, you suck. And that's just me. I'm broken like that.
Right.
But Pete is like an effusive
booming.
To sit on the sides,
Yeah.
giving you more laughs than the audience and making you feel good.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a great.
Yeah.
He's so nice. He's also way taller than you think he's
6'7".
So tall. You're known to wear shorts and high socks on stage, and your wardrobe is kind of like 1970s gym class chic. Is that your little like rebellion against comedic norms?
I think I have. No one buys this fully. I have like more sensitive skin, so I don't love clothes. I don't
all
love
the hair. It's like it's like abrasion. It's
very much
good,
possibly, but like if I get sick, my skin's the first thing to feel like in pain. And I remember in high school, like I would roll my sleeves up, like to the shoulder, and I had a teacher would be like, "Oh, you're trying to show off your arms," and it was embarrassing because I truly wasn't. It just felt better, and so like especially when it's a little hot, my God, I hate.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you're putting jeans on a Brillo pad. You know what I mean? It's like you have Brillo pad legs and arms. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just like it. I feel a comfort, and ultimately, of course, I feel better. I was not an in-shape kid. I was a kid. I was so anxious about my body.
Sure.
And now I just like lean into it, and it feels comedic, and I like sitting, and I do like it. I'm not just making a like, oh, I want to do this. If I was alone, I'd be wearing shorts.
Okay, that's fair.
But still have not worn it at the Cellar yet. That's the one place.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Do that at a Sunday brunch show with Esty there. Let's see why is he wearing shorts? You have resting theater face. What's harder, killing at a comedy club or pretending you're okay when someone misquotes Death of a Salesman?
I definitely, when people like say like my favorite musical is Phantom of the Opera, I'm like, that's okay. I have to be okay with that.
It's a hack.
It's the same with people who's their favorite stand-up, and it's the same three people. And you go, yes,
sure.
Gabriel Iglesias, the wordsmith of our time.
Right? Yeah. By the way, I thought of a great merch idea for you. You should give out playbills on your at your shows on the way in, and then the way out, you do a little stage door, you sign them like that.
That's not a bad idea.
And then it's more literature about you in there, which I'm sure you'd love. That'd be a fun thing.
I'd love, because I stopped going out after shows because it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot. But playbill, I've been to Broadway shows, and I'm like, that's fine. You go around, everyone's crowded.
Exactly.
Sign. Picture. You got to go.
Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night. Yeah. By the way, I was walking on the boardwalk yesterday, and then I saw this, and it made me think of you. So I got this.
Oh my gosh!
Got this for you.
I'm not exactly gay, but I'm not exactly not gay.
There we go.
Very true.
It's actually very similar to a joke you have in your act. And I mean, look at that. It's a six-pack wolf there. I mean, look at this.
I am headlining a furry convention this Sunday. And
dude, wear that shirt.
I should. And my first suit is a wolf. I didn't get a full outfit made. Someone just designed it for me.
Gotcha.
But next year, I hope to do it again and get the full. But the wolf is what we settled on.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of not gay but not straight, you also performed on James Corden. How was that experience compared to the Tonight Show?
God, I was more settled for the Tonight Show. These late night sets are weird.
Yeah.
They're weird. And Corden, it was tough. I opened with truly, I think, one of the best opening joke I've had. But it's a little weird. The twist is unusual.
Okay.
And it didn't get the pop I thought it really deserved.
That's a gulp moment right there.
Yes, and it's like, and it didn't like bomb for sure, but immediately in my head I'm going, let it go, let it go, let it go. That didn't get what it deserved.
Isn't that almost worse to get a ha 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 versus just silence?
I mean, God, if I'd gotten silence, it's a long setup for one punch.
Yeah.
But it was like, it truly, I was so mad.
Interesting.
These late night sets, they're rough. So Tonight Show, I felt just a little more prepared. I front loaded it.
Right.
Again, I do love a long setup, one big punch for an opener.
Of course.
I remember when you beat me at Caroline's March Madness in the second round.
We did that together? We did that versus each other?
I won the first round, and the second round, you did one. It was like a long setup about drugs, busting for drugs. Get this lady.
Oh yeah. Wow, I forgot about.
But it was like a
out of the way miss.
Yeah, and it was like especially for the amount of time, it was like a long setup for like one punch that just
right.
And you also opened with I hate this or whatever.
That's funny, yeah. And I do hate comedy competitions, and especially short sets versus another comic is my least fucking favorite.
And the
thing
moment
on
you
the
said I hate this, I knew I had lost. and I was like, you know, in your head, you're like, what a genius.
Yeah.
I should have thought about describing how much I hated the format of the show.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was early and like learning.
Right.
You know, you learn. I did learn from those things. Like, okay.
Well, it was interesting because I had Jordan on season 1, and we talked about, and we did the New York's Funniest thing, and she had thought it was a fait accompli that you were going to win because you were like killing all around. And I think all three of us had the 3 strongest sets of the thing. I followed a woman, we talked about this, but I followed a woman who bombed in such a spectacular, unbelievable way that it ruined the momentum. And then I was able to, I had like the set of my life getting the show back to that, and then and then kill, and like got a big applause break at the end. I never say I killed, so like this was saying like I did very well, and then Jordan went up right after me and just rode that wave, and then I think I don't know if you went up after Jordan or something, or you went last, but then you killed as well. And I remember it being like, well, the 3 of us, it's kind of anybody could win, but I was like maybe the judges will see that since I got them from -12 back to great, then maybe that'll count for more than just. I made fun of Jordan for riding my wave, but then she won, but she was totally convinced that you were going to win that. So she didn't even, she said she was like eating pasta when they called her name up.
That's so funny. I had my competition year where I like did well.
Yeah.
And I was writing, you know, I couldn't go back and I'd have to go back to writing in a certain way. For those LOL crowds.
Yes.
For those like kill.
Hurry up. Yeah.
No real thoughts.
Yeah. Okay, man, there's so much stuff we're running out of time here. And I feel like we would challenge each other in a lot of ways, and that's a good thing because you do, I feel like, have this brilliant way of arguing where you're very, like, you smile and you talk calmly, you know what I mean?
Sure.
As you're, and it's very disarming, but I also have like a master's degree in like Irish passive aggression, so I can like see that bullshit a mile away, and it's very fun. But I do have like a big bone to pick with you that we'll talk about on the Patreon.com.
I'm excited.
Co-host wanted. But I do want to ask where people can find you.
Yes. Watch my special Thief of Joy, free on YouTube. I'm everywhere, every app at Gianmarco Soresi. And my podcast is called The Downside. Check it out.
Yes, The Downside, by the way, which I think is the only podcast that makes like therapy sound uplifting, you know, sound upbeat. But we always end the podcast with this. I want you to we do a segment called Fix This. So basically, tell me something in society that you hate, and then tell me how you would fix it.
Oh gosh. I do feel like I think we all need to like go to the same doctor to get diagnosed with all our mental things, and we have it like a card so we can prove. I just feel like we're all playing fast and loose with all diagnoses right now.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people that's like they believe in mental illness but not character flaws.
Sure.
And I think we all need to go to the same doctor and get an assessment. And, you know, I had a therapist diagnosed with mild OCD. I'd love to have it on a card.
Sure.
And we could be like, this is what it means. This is what's excused. This is what's my fault.
Yes. What actual human behavior? Because, and we were just talking before the show, is like there are people now who are just assholes, you know, and the autism blanket of like, sorry, I'm a little on the spectrum.
The autism blanket has gone. I mean, it's out of control.
It's like a hand across America quilt at this point. I mean, it really is a big umbrella for every excuse of personal flaws, and I do feel like it's really a shitty thing because it also kind of like it makes a bad name of autism, you know?
Yeah, there's other things. I mean, I know people with autism and their memory's incredible, and I go, God damn.
There's like 6 different comedians who have the bit of like, name any country and I'll tell you the capital. Like that's a specific autism. You know what I mean? That they're like, they know every single thing about history or whatever. You're like, it's like a weaponized autism.
For sure.
That some people have. But I do think that there's. So
I mean, this is pointed. I think if you're going to lean hard into talking about a mental illness on stage,
I know the exact person you're talking about. I know the exact
I'm going to need to see some papers.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
And there's more. To be fair, it extends. It is. But I'm going to need to see. The doctors.
The receipts.
The receipts.
Yeah. There are certain comics who never talked about mental illness until they got diagnosed, and seemingly became their entire act, personality, and their mental illness seemed to have ramped up dramatically since finding that out. Really leaned into it. But hey, maybe that's something we get into in the chemistry test on the Patreon. Patreon.com/co-hostwanted. But Gianmarco, I do appreciate you coming in. I mean, there's so many things I didn't get to get to, but I think I've got everything I need here. So I'll review all this, and we'll let you know.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe, rate, review, and tell a friend. Come see me live. Get all my tour dates and sign up for my email list at punchup.live/Mike Feeney. And here's a sneak peek on this week's bonus Patreon episode. You said that you think comedians have an obligation to speak truth to power. And my question is, are you confusing us with like Bernie Sanders or like with a politician? Because I feel differently on that, but I want to give you.
Yeah, I don't know if I think like every comedian. I think it's more this.